Well, that was as bad as it gets for the Toronto Raptors. What's going on, everyone? Luca here, back with another Raptors post-game reaction. And today we're going to be talking about the Raptors doing the unthinkable. They lost to the Portland Trailblazers at home, a rebuilding Blazers team that looked terrible to start their season and who were on the second night of a back-to-back. Yes, that happened. Do me a solid favor, everyone. Hit a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more Raptors content just like this. So, I didn't want to call this game a must-win for the Raptors because, let's call it for what it is. Going in, it was only just the fourth game of the season. But these are the type of games that are really going to tell you a whole lot about how this Raptors team is going to fare this season and what kind of season it's ultimately going to be. Because going into tonight's game, the Raptors had the Blazers, like I said, a team that did not look good. They had a couple blowout losses. They were on the second night of back-to-back after Philly just kicked their butts. And this was a spot where the Raptors should have handled their business, especially if this team is destined to be competitive, enter that competitive tier, and be a potential playoff team. As I gave this team the benefit of the doubt coming in, that was going to be the reality. But then when you see what you saw unfold, it just leaves you there scratching your head like, man, are the Raptors who we thought they were? Because this was not a good game. First of all, this should have never been close. Secondly, this could have easily been a Blazers blowout if it wasn't for Scotty Barnes. And thirdly, I know you can just say this is one game, one off game, but look, these games matter. And when you're trying to establish yourself and be a team that is going to be competitive, you got to win these games. Now, I know it's still early. Players are still trying to gel under this new head coach, new offensive system, new regime. I get that. But this loss against the Blazers was just inexcusable, especially how it went down. You look at the Raptors, once again, they got off to that nice start. That hasn't been an issue for this team. And then the second quarter, Blazers hanging around thanks to the three ball. And then the third quarter, the Blazers busted this game wide open. By the way, the Raptors were terrible from downtown. And when you look at this team, couple of issues, the shooting consistency, the scoring droughts, turnovers continue to be an issue for this team. As you look at the Raptors, they only shot at 40% from the field. They only shot it. I don't even want to say this. That's how bad it is. They shot at 13.8% from downtown. They were 4 of 29 from three. That was a huge difference maker in this game because the Blazers, they didn't shoot it particularly well from downtown, but they hit 11 of 35 threes. So they basically hit 7 more threes than the Raptors. That's 21 points right there. So that was a big discrepancy in this one. And then you look at the total rebounds. They only out-rebounded the Raptors. The Blazers did +4, which is surprising because DeAndre Ayton, he was huge in this one. Like DeAndre Ayton, I don't know what got into him, but I guess he saw the memes online, criticizing his play. He didn't fill it up in terms of his point production tonight, but he was an absolute beast on the glass. Ayton had 23 rebounds, 7 offensive, including a couple of big rebounds. One in particular that comes to mind late, keeping the possession alive for the Blazers. He was big in this game. And then the Raptors assists, pretty identical with the Blazers. Turnovers, like I said, they were high. And then points in the paint, the Raptors were actually +10. But then the other big part of this game that did not go the Raptors' way, and a big reason why the Blazers ended up winning, bench points. The Blazers bench outscored the Raptors bench 33-17. And you can credit Malcolm Brogdon. I don't know what it is, but Malcolm Brogdon seems to go off whenever he plays against the Raptors. He had 21 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, and he was basically the bench for the Blazers. He was 21 of the Blazers' 33 bench points. And then you look at the Raptors bench, their second unit continues to be an issue. Ironically, Malachi Flynn, a guy who we've been roasting, who hasn't been good. He has, not been good for the Raptors overall this season. And even this game, you look at Flynn, he was a -9 in the minutes that he played. But ironically, he scored the most points from off the bench. Flynn had 6, Boucher had 4, Dick had 4, and Gary Trent Jr. had 3, and McDaniels had 0. McDaniels has yet to score for the Raptors this season, which is very, very disappointing because I expected McDaniels to be a lot better. I mean, he showed us a lot more in the preseason, and he's been a non-factor so far this season. And then Grady Dick, what I'll say is, he had 4 points, but he also had 6 rebounds. And yes, he did struggle to shoot the basketball in this one. 1 of 7, obviously. 2 of 7. Obviously, an off night from his last game. But you can tell Grady Dick is beginning to gain confidence, and Darko is actually gaining confidence when it comes to playing Grady Dick. He actually had some big minutes in this one, and he was out there in that fourth quarter. So Grady Dick, all things considered, I mean, he's going to continue to get the minutes, and it was nice to see him, getting some rebounds and those shots. You just hope it's a matter of Dick being consistent with that shot because he did have some good looks, didn't go down for him, but you just hope Grady Dick can get into a rhythm and put together some games where he can light it up from outside. He was 0 of 3 from deep. But Gary Trent Jr., man, very, very concerning. 1 of 7, had a bad miss late in this one, 0 of 1 from 3, 3 points. He was a -10 tonight. And I don't know what's going on with Gary Trent Jr., but his body language doesn't look the best. It's like as soon as this guy comes from off the bench again, he just turns into a completely different player in the worst way possible. I mean, Gary Trent Jr., there was a big expectation on him this season. We're talking about, okay, Dennis Schroeder starting, Gary Trent Jr. is going to be that 6th man. And we thought he was going to be that guy who's going to come into games, really give the Raptors an offensive boost and be that leader of that second unit. But so far, Gary Trent Jr. has not played to the level that I thought he was going to play at, leading and being the main guy of the second unit, which is disappointing because obviously Gary Trent Jr., we expect so much more from him. But as soon as he goes back to the bench, it's like the light turns off. Precious Achiuwa sat this one out, did not play. So the Raptors were missing him. But this was just a struggle for the Raptors. I mean, I didn't think their energy was good in this one. To start the third quarter, it just sloppy play, ugly basketball. Obviously, that's when the Blazers made their run, outscoring the Raptors 33-24. And if it wasn't for Scottie Barnes, once again, if it wasn't for Scottie Barnes, this game would have gotten out of hand because Scottie Barnes took over in that third quarter. He had a stretch where I think he scored 12 points, had 9 rebounds. He finished with 20 and 12 and 2. Scottie Barnes had a triple-double on Friday against the Bulls. He has a double-double tonight. As you look at Barnes, he had 2 steals, 1 block. He continues to look like the bright spot in what has so far been a rough start to this Raptors season. OG Anunoby, 10 points, but didn't shoot the ball well, just 2 of 9 from deep. Pascal Siakam had 20 points, 6 rebounds. He did take 21 shots tonight, so Siakam definitely got the memo that he had to shoot the ball more, but he was 0 of 6 from downtown. Struggled dearly from beyond the arc. Pirtle had 14 and 10, but, he couldn't really do much against Aiden, who, like I said, dominated the glass. And then Dennis Schroeder, I want to say, honestly, outside of Scottie Barnes, all things considered, say what you want about Dennis Schroeder, but I think he's done a good job in what he's been asked to do with this team. He's obviously not going to fill it up like Fred did, but, as this team's point guard, he has done a great job distributing the ball. He had 8 assists, and Dennis Schroeder continues to light up the assists and find his teammates, and he has done a good job facilitating. Obviously, shooting, that's not going to be his staple. He was 4 of 10, 1 of 3 from 3. But Dennis Schroeder continues to do his job, like I said, of getting other guys involved, which is what you want him to do. But overall, it's like the Raptors are going to have to figure this thing out. They're going to have to get more help for Scottie. Siakam, he's going to have to put together more consistent performances. And, this is a Raptors team that, like I said, they continue to get in these scoring droughts. They continue to have stretches where they just play very poor basketball. Their half-court offense hasn't been sharp. And it's just games like this that, you see the Raptors lose to a team like the Blazers, and it just starts putting the worst of narratives in your head. Because look, I gave this team the benefit of the doubt coming into the season, but if the Raptors are going to continue to play like this and struggle against the likes of the Blazers, it may very well be a long season. And this thing could get out of hand quick. And what I mean by that is the Raptors are 1-3. They were expected to win tonight. They didn't. It's not going to get any easier for this team. The next 5 Raptors games are as follows: Bucks, 76ers, which is going to be the second night of a back-to-back, and they're on the road for that one. Then they have the Spurs, Mavericks, who are off to a 3-0 start, and then the Boston Celtics, who are also off to a 3-0 start. So, folks, I mean, a 1-8 start is actually a real possibility for this team. So, this team, they need to play a lot better. They got to get, solid contributions around Scotty, and the bench has to be better. The three-point shooting has to be better. And hopefully for the Raptors, this thing can come together for them quick. Because like I said, their next 5 games, very, very tough. This thing could get out of hand very, very soon. But speaking of Barnes, we're going to end it with him. I mean, he has been that staple, bright spot. When you look at Scotty Barnes, yeah, there's areas that he has to improve in. He did, have a couple of turnovers, 4 turnovers, 8 of 19 from the field. He continues to shoot it pretty solidly from the field. He was only 1 of 4 from deep, but you look at Barnes, numbers don't lie, right? This was actually a graphic on TSN. Scotty Barnes, 20 plus points, 8 plus rebounds, 6 plus assists through the first 3 games this season, joining Joel Embiid, LeBron James, and Nikola Jokic. So that's pretty elite company. It speaks volumes to the type of season Barnes has been having. And if Scotty Barnes isn't putting up these numbers, the Raptors look a lot worse than they already do. So that should tell you a lot about how Scotty Barnes has been doing his best to try to carry the Raptors and keep them afloat. And we saw, particularly in that second half, when it looked like this game was going to get out of hand for the Raptors, Scotty Barnes did what he did. He dialed in and he took over in that third. But as soon as Barnes came out, second unit guys came in, the Blazers tipped momentum. And they never relinquished that momentum from that point on, as they went on to outscore the Raptors in the fourth and win this game by 8. So, look, credit the Blazers. This is a young, scrappy team, but a rebuilding team. And, you saw the Blazers, they were hungry tonight. They felt like they belonged in this game, and they were able and capable of beating a team like the Raptors, which they did. And like I said, Brogdon having a bigger role on this Blazers team. He came to play. Jeremy Grant. We saw Scoot Henderson, who obviously was involved in all those Siakam trade rumors. He did his thing, 11 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. So Blazers win this game, and the Raptors fall 1-3. But Raptors Nation, that is going to conclude today's reaction. Let me know your takeaways from this game. Are you concerned about the Raptors to this point on? I mean, man, we were feeling so good about this team after that first game. And less than a week later, it just has gone south, as the Raptors have now lost 3 games in a row. So let me know your thoughts. Hit a like on the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't new. That is it for me. This is Lucas signing off. Until next time, stay safe.